if they can keep doing that, if they can keep surprising Nos and kind of making them play their game, then Shoes Money Crew should be able to take this one. But yeah, Nos could surprise us.
So you're putting your money on the Money Crew. That's as fair of a statement as has ever been said. However, I do want to talk about that quad DPS because to me, this is Nos's map pick, right? And Volskaya A is one of the most viable places in assault maps in general to run a quad DPS lineup. So I'm not entirely sure what the logic is behind this pick.
Well, I'm not sure. They possibly think that they can just run the goats comp they normally have, and it looked like they were going to be running a scouting composition, and yes, they were running a scouting comp. So they now are running the Winston goats, and we've seen them run it on this map before, and it has worked out quite well for them. So they're probably trying to use the verticality to their advantage by running their Winston. However, we've got Shoes Money Crew running this double sniper with Slow on the Ana and a Winston of their own. So I don't know if it's gonna work out the way that they're hoping.
Yeah, well, Novus gonna charge straight in, immediately rotate to try and rob Mouse of the high ground. But Nos takes too much damage. Polly, where are you going?
Polly,
That's the water! You don't want to go for a swim, it's too cold! Alright, well, I guess Nos is working with an early player advantage. Gustav goes down too. There goes most of the healing. But there goes the rest of it as Obling just gets those beautiful dash resets. Cleans up the rest of Shoes Money Crew, and not the best start from the SMC there, but maybe they can bring it back on second.
Shoes Money Crew definitely feeling the heat here, making silly mistakes. First on the pole, now we see Polly taking a dive into the ocean. And that's not what you want to be doing, guys. I know you guys start, but you got to get it together. You got to take this back. And now with this very interesting dive-esque composition coming from Nos, Genji already at 100%. We've got that Dragon Blade. They're about to nano it as well.
Oh yeah, go straight into the back line, deletes Polly, eats through Slur, he's looking for a third, and he's not quite gonna get it. Good bit of zoning here, but already basically half of Shoes Money Crew down here on the defense. It's desperation stagger time as they try and work their way back in. They do manage to get a kill onto Obling, and now the big one, so they do stabilize very nicely and deny the value of that Nano Blade.
Yeah, putting too much of your faith into that Genji blade. Yes, he did get a bunch of picked, and he let Mouse get away with only like 3 HP. Yes, there was a
He's trying to get that jump.
We've seen him try to get that jump before, and sometimes it just doesn't work. But sometimes it just be like that.
It definitely does.
Yeah, no, so they let Mouse live with such low health, and yes, there was a big health pack there, but you gotta run that down. Mouse came back, built up that energy, beamed everyone to death, and Shoes Money Crew do manage to stabilize. But now there are still 5.5 minutes left with 3 ultimates on the clock for Nos. They have advantage.
Oh yeah, no diva for Shoes Money Crew. Oh, and Mofig with the beautiful position there. Finds 3. That's the end of the defense. The kills come through. Gustav's gonna try and desperately stall this out for his team to get back, but already 2 ticks taken. Lucio goes down on the side. No one can make it there. And Novus gonna find success on that second push.
That was such good timing on that Diva bomb. The Graviton Surge came through, and then there was the Transcendence and a May Wall. They were trying everything they could to negate as much damage as possible to protect them from whatever was going to come. And as soon as the wall went down, the self-destruct went out. And just like that, it was all over there. There's the 3K, and thank you for playing. And now Nos have 5 minutes left on their time bank. Shoes Money Crew are going to have to really show up if they want to get anywhere near that same kind of time bank here. Hopefully they've got something on their sleeve, because that first defense it's definitely not what they wanted.
I can't say that I agree with the choice to run the May on second rather than the Diva, right? Because usually when you run like the May version of goats, call it Snoats, Fro goats, whatever you want to call it. Usually it's for choke points, right? You want to get those walls, you want to separate them out, but they weren't really playing around that at all. They sort of just put the wall up in the middle where Novus could easily walk around it, and then you don't have a Diva to even threaten the grab, right? Like, don't get me wrong, it's harder to eat grabs now with a 2-second cooldown on the defense matrix, but at least you have some kind of threat if you're running it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at this point, Zarya knows that she can just run around and not be worried. Just throw a Graviton Surge and, whatever. It won't get eaten. I think that the Mei pick was probably something, because Mei is really good with her AoE freeze, right? So she can freeze a lot of the components of goats, and it creates that immediate 6v5 player advantage. But it just didn't work out. And the Grav came out, and they weren't able to utilize Mei at all. It could have been big, but it wasn't.
Well, you know what is big? The big one on this Bastion. This is a comp we've seen Novus run a couple times here. They like to use the Bastion as bait while Obling just picks them apart. There goes the dive. Obling's the first one down, though. So there goes that crossfire potential, as now Novus has to play very careful. Kara not taking that to heart. He's the next one down. Already, Shoes Money have set themselves up beautifully on the point. Big One only managed to get the mech of Barbecue before everybody goes down. That is a quick first team fight going the way of Shoes Money crew.
I mean, SMC were clearly expecting that. They knew, they've seen us play before. They know the strats. They know that on Volskaya, you're probably going to have them holding up on that high ground with the Bastion. They knew what they needed to do. Winston dove in, didn't dive onto them, dove past, created a distraction. Bastion turned around. Winston got the bubble. He survived, and you know, half the team dived or died while the Big One was confused. So really well played here from Shoes Money crew. Now, the ultimates are slowly starting to charge up. They've got that Genji now. Still, they're going to try and run a similar strat to what Nos ran on this attack here. And we're just going to have to see if it's going to create the same sort of effect that Nos had, because Nos are really behind on ult economy at the moment.
Yeah, Shoes Money is just sort of poking right now. They want to wait for that Nanoblade win condition. Polly's only 7% away from it, so Shoes Money don't want to early invest. Polly's going to set himself up over on the side. He's going to look for those juicy supports in the backline, but the first juicy support to go down is Slur. Oh, and Polly's getting zoned out. He gets stunned down. He gets taken out of the equation, but it's a 2-for-2 trade. 4v4 on the point. JK Lol and Barbecue looking worse for wear, however. JK Lol is going to be the next one down with the defender's advantage. That respawn going out. Novus have all the advantages that they could want. Gustav, for some reason, doesn't agree. Invests the sound barrier here, but it's not going to net him anything except a quick and painful demise.
And that was definitely a questionable sound barrier at best. Yes, it was kind of like a 3v3 sort of place, but you know Nos have the spawn advantage. They're just going to run out of spawn, and they're expecting you to be there. Molfik doesn't get the kill onto the Zenyatta there. Does manage to get a bit of ult charge, but if he had gotten that kill, it would have been quite big. Now Nos are a little bit out of position.
Yeah, a little bit, and now they have to be wary of that self-destruct overhead. Does zone Novus back, but they've got the sound barrier to keep them nice and healthy. Polly can't say the same. Gustav threw that away last fight. Now, Novus having the player advantage, just gonna march their way on forward toward the spawn of Shoes Money crew and say, hey, you stay there.
Get out of my game, man. Positioning?
No, out of my game is another team in this series. This is Shoes Money crew.
Yeah, but that's not my fault, okay? No, really well played here from Nos. So they were caught a little bit out of position. They're chasing down that Zenyatta. They had to back up. And despite the fact that they literally had to shift into reverse, couldn't turn around, they had to run backwards to make sure that they weren't taking too much damage. They still managed to hold. And now they're sitting on 5 ultimates. Shoes Money crew really behind at the moment. I don't know if they're going to be able to take it on this next push. They're going to have to coordinate exceptionally well to try and dodge the absolute onslaught of ultimates that are going to come through from Nos.
Oh, Barbecue does manage to get the eat onto the grab of Big One, but it doesn't manage to save the front line. Beautiful left clicking there from Luff. Just gonna deal so much damage with that Reinhardt hammer.
At least Shoes Money crew didn't use any of their ultimates there. They did eat the Graviton Surge, and that's pretty big for them because they don't have to worry about that Grav now. But there is still the Earth Shatter to contend with, as well as the Self-Destruct, and that is pretty powerful on its own. They are coming in with the Rally and the Transcendence, as well as a Grav of their own. If they can get the Grav off, then possibly they can win this next fight. But again, it's looking really dire for SMC at the moment.
Yeah, they're going into still so many win conditions. Could be a Shatter Bomb combo, could be just out-sustaining with support ults, could be any number of things, and Shoes Money still about 20% away from that Bigger Bang combo of their own. Rallies are out both sides. Oh, but just gets deleted! Slur finding the nice headshots on the side. Luff trying to bring it back, but the Transcendence is there to counteract his Shatter. Oh no, stack support ults from Novus, I believe there. There's only a bit of a layer though, so they do manage to get the full value. Not enough value to save Big One, who just got the grab online. Now Shoes Money crew behind, a nice sound barrier out from Gustav, going to sustain themselves pretty as they look to get this capture rolling. 2 ticks taken for the attacking team as Novus are going to try and throw themselves onto the point, but they only have a grab, nothing to combo with it, no way to secure the follow-up. Polly goes down, but everybody else from Novus is finding the wrong end of Slur's orbs of destruction. Slur fragging out and helping his team just lock that one down.
And what was really great was we saw the rally come through from Polly, and then in response, there was rally from Obling. And as soon as Obling hit Q, Polly was on him, as well as Slur. Slur gets that massive headshot on him, and then it's GG. So now you don't have that rally anymore. And Shoes Money Crew have the speed boost from the rally of their own. They barrel straight onto point, and as you said, Slur just frags out. Really valiant attempt there from Nos to get back onto point, but at that particular point in the fight, Shoes Money Crew, like their synergy was just so good. They managed to zone out anything that Nos threw at them. So now they have got 2 minutes 55, and that is a substantially smaller time bank for Shoes Money Crew to attack. But if they can get a nice strong attack like they did the first time, then it could go either way still. Even with such a big discrepancy in time, I mean, these teams are really duking it out here. They know what's at stake.
Sure, and you know, Shoes Money, their first defense was a bit of a fluke here, right? When they were defending against Novus. So maybe when it's their turn to defend, they can make that point A hold go a little bit better. Won't be their turn to defend first though, as we do have Novus coming out. It's not the Bastion this time, it's just straight up Ryan Goats.
Well, I think that's definitely going to work out better for them because they know that Shoes Money Crew will be expecting that Bastion. Now, Shoes Money Crew are rolling out with what they use to attack the Bastion strat, and that might put a dent in their time because it looks like they may be going back to swap out. So this is, again, a pretty interesting head game from Nos, you know, knowing that Shoes Money Crew are expecting that Bastion. We're going to swap it up. But now, Shoes Money Crew coming through with that... No, never mind. It was going to be quite DPS.
It was going to be triple DPS. But they were like, you know what? Why do that when we can just go Goat's forehead?
There you go. When in doubt, Goats it out.
Yeah, well, the Goats are going to be going out over on the side here, doing a rotation around the outer edges of the point. They want to try and get that high ground, get Slur set up there. I mean, he was doing such a good job of fragging out on that last point. Might as well enable him as much as possible. Now, they have the high ground. Novus have this corner. It's going to be a battle to see who can dislodge the other first. Early bubble, out from Luft, could be punishable. JK Law moves in, he gets hit with a bio, but Luft though is the first one down. Yeah, JK Law gotta be a little bit careful. He's looking worse for wear, and the Reinhardts have now been traded. Big one already on that 85% charge, but he's dueling it out with Mouse, and Mouse has more health at the moment because he still has a bring up. Big one goes down, and then Novus just have to throw themselves onto the point and try and shave off a bit of time.
Huge rotation there from Shoes Money Crew, and I gotta give it to the supports there because at every moment that it looked like those tanks were about to go down, the supports managed to keep them alive and keep them fighting. And of course, Miles with his absolutely insane energy charge, just beaming through everything, melting everything in his path. Now they are moving on to the second point with 2 ultimates in their bank. They're about to have a full 4 ultimates. They do have an advantage here. The supports can keep popping off and they could be able to take it.
Yeah, Shoes Money, see the nano come down on the left. They're just like, nope, thanks though. Yep, we'll let you buy 10 seconds off our time bank. We're gonna come back with pretty much every ult in the tool belt here. Mouse holding onto that graph, chucks it out. Bit of a yeet there. Everybody's pressing Q. Who gets the value? It's Barbecue. He manages to find 3. Lock this offense down for Shoes Money Crew. Beautiful placement on that before he got caught up in that graph. Already nets him 1 tick. 2 ticks on the board, and that's going to be Shoes Money Crew looking to capture this one out. Novus are just going to have to desperately throw themselves onto the point and try and stall that time bank out as long as possible, but Shoes Money, they're going to find all the picks here, and unless Novus have some sort of god play, it's going to be Shoes Money getting this cap.
I mean, it looks like it. We still got May trying to contest it out here, which May will go down too slow, obviously. I mean, that just makes sense, right?
Yeah, at this
slow
point,
could be the biggest frag on
it's what you expect at this point from Shoes Money Crew.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, it's impressive when we talk about Slur, right? Because one of our biggest questions for Shoes Money Crew when it came to this season of Trials is Tri-Spear got picked up by someone, right? He went off to, quote, other opportunities, unquote. So... you know, Slur had big shoes to fill, and as Panda likes to say, the guy's got clown feet. right?
Right?
Just rocking those and coming up huge for this team that really needed strength in that flex support role.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like Slur's Cinderella story, and not in the sense of like Cinderella finds the prince, but Slur's like the ugly stepsisters whose feet were too big to fit into the glass slipper, and he like tries to get it in, and he just destroyed Tri-Spear's shoes. He was like, you know what? You don't need a Cinderella. You got Slur, you got me, and
It's like if the ugly stepsister like broke the shoe and was just like, but doesn't that mean I'm better, Prince Charming?
Exactly. That's exactly what Slur did. And in this case, I mean, you could make the argument maybe he is. He's filled his role really well. He frags out when he needs to. His transcendences are on point. His Discord orbs are on point. He's doing so much for his team right now. And it looks like Shoes Money Crew are rolling out with the same defense that they had last time. And hopefully, Polly doesn't jump off the edge.
Yeah,
and
they want to see what this.
This.
They want to see how this works when Polly doesn't go for an early swim in the cold sky in winter, right?
Yeah, I can hear them in comms. Okay, guys, just like last time, but better.
Oh man. Okay. Well, Polly's gonna be. He's nowhere near the water for now, so nobody has anything to worry about for the moment. Throws out that Sonic arrow. Wants to get a bit of information. Novus, they go back a little bit right now. They want to try and switch onto a composition that favors them a little bit more. Oblin going over to that Genji. Right now, the Novus, the dive comes in, the bubble, Luft just setting himself up on the point, being like, hey, you guys gotta come to me here. JK Law goes straight into the backline, gets destroyed. Nice shot from Polly onto Kara. There's no supports online for Novus to try and get in here. They had some nice positioning, but they just couldn't make it work.
I love seeing the flex play coming through from these players. You know, players that you are so used to seeing on support or tank because of what's been happening with GOATs, really popping off on these defense, or rather on these DPS heroes. And Polly doing exceptionally well on this Hanzo, getting the picks that he needs and creating a lot of space for his team to continue to pop off.
Yeah, but he is sitting right next to Mouse now, so no crossfire available. Mouse has to use the coach gun to get out of there. Looking for a pick over on Obling, but Obling manages to get inside, get that mini pack rolling here. Left, taking so much damage in the front line. I feel like I never see him above 400 health right now. Okay, as I say that, he does get healed up to very nearly full. Oh, Dragon Strike down onto the field. Don't know what you were aiming at there, Polly, but nobody's going to be in that room for the moment. We know that for certain. Obling's got that Dragon Blade online. The Nano's also online. Here's the combo. Dash reset coming out. He's looking for the picks. Manages to get one onto his brother on the Hanzo. Gets the other DPS as well. Looking for the Mercy. Not going to find it here, but you've already done the damage in taking out the damage. So there's just no threat for Novus to worry about now, as they're going to look to get this cap rolling on point A.
Finally, they do manage to take it. And again, you know, in this tank heavy, support heavy meta at the moment, Genji hasn't been getting a play, but as soon as you bring out some DPS heroes, some squishies, Genji's value suddenly skyrockets, and we just saw it now. You pop the nano onto that Genji. We saw it on their first attack. We're seeing it now on their second attack. Genji can absolutely pop off. They will swap him off onto the Brigida though. They're going to play it safe because they know they've already used the nano blade. They're going to come through with the normal goat, and it is going to be not even a mirror comp because we're seeing Slow still on that Ana, and hopefully he can get a nice nano possibly onto JK Lol, really increase that Tesla cannon and create some distension in the backline.
Yeah, there it is. JK Lol trying to tickle him down here, but he's all alone in the backline right now. Doesn't really manage to do anything except annoy Novus. Now he's got to pop the Primal because he's just taking so much damage. He's trying to slap Novus off the high ground here, but Novus just go for the disengage. It's a bit of a mirror of when Novus used the nano on their defense. It's like, yeah, that's cute, but we can just wait it out. Now Novus coming back in. They've got 4 ults in the bank, including the Primal out from Luft. He's in the backline. He's causing mayhem in the support line of Shoes Money Crew. Now, self-destruct overhead from Barbecue. Manages to find Obling. So a player advantage in favor of Shoes Money Crew, but it's not going to last very long. Miles goes down. So does Eclipse. And now it's Shoes Money with the heavy advantage. JK Law is tickling that backline. And Novus say, you know what? We're not going to fight this. We're just going to wait.
Simply using that nano boost followed up by the Primal Rage was a really good stalling tactic. They didn't get too much value in terms of kills or creating massive opportunity, but it did stall out Nos just that little bit longer, pulled out their own Primal Rage, and of course Winston was juking it out in the background, not getting too much value, not being there with his team. So Shu's Money Crew really had an opportunity there with one of the main tanks out of the way to keep holding on to that point just a little bit longer. So they've held onto it now. Time is ticking down. If Nos can take the point now, they still have the advantage, but Shu's Money Crew, they've got some ults here. It could go either way.
Yeah, quick decisive rotation from one high ground to another. Nice jump, but all it really does is put Eclipse in a position he does not want to be. You don't want your Zen that far forward, guys. He's a little bit too vulnerable for that. Novus gonna find that out the hard way. What started as a 5-minute time bank now down to a minute 15. Mouse is okay. He's trying it again. He's trying it again. Nope. He gives it up.
Come on, Mouse. Third time's the charm. You always stop after 2. I'll just take the stairs.
Well, do you think that third time's gonna be the charm for Novus here? They're coming back in with hardly any win conditions.
Yeah, no ultimates here. They do have that self-destruct, which could be huge for them, as well as the Transcendence to protect them from Mouse's grab. But they have more than simply Mouse's grab. They've got so much going for them at the moment, and Winston diving in to create some dissension in the backline there, keeping them off point.
Yeah, even more with the Primal. Yet again, Novus just sort of get cold feet. They get scared. What?
What?
I don't know if that was the play there, Big One. This is what I was talking about a little bit earlier with how Big One can be kind of streaky. Don't know if that was a play. Now, Bigger Bang combo coming the other direction. Thankfully, no Reinhardt to pin out Luft, but Big One's gonna go down anyways. Only 15 seconds remaining. Shu's Money Crew looking to hold strong here. So much damage down onto Molfig. Gonna force the self-destruct, and he's gonna get punished for it. 5 seconds remaining here for Novus to try and make something of this, but they're getting picked off one by one. No one can contest Mouse. High energy Zarya. He's just gonna right-click, left-click, and just delete Novus from that point as Shu's Money Crew go up 2-1 in the series.
The Zarya battle between Mouse and Big One, I mean, it's been pretty big. No pun intended. You know, there have been moments where Big One absolutely shines. We highlighted it a little bit earlier. We've got 2 Graviton Surges in the space of one fight, but there are moments where he does really questionable things. He's thrown out 2 grabs that got literally nothing, no value whatsoever, and with only 30 seconds left in their time bank, they needed that. They needed that to take the point and possibly take it to, you know, a 6-point assault. But he threw it, and it was probably a fat finger, but for whatever the reason, they didn't have that grab when they needed it. So the Zarya matchup here has been heavily in Mouse's favor. There have been moments where Big One pops off and we go, wow, Big One, and Mouse is quietly there, and he's just consistently being good. High energy, good grabs, just outperforming Big One at most turns, and I think that that's definitely what's creating a lot of opportunity for Shu's Money Crew to perform better.
Yeah, he's the rock that Shu's Money Crew can kind of lean on, right? But we're gonna lean on out of here for just a little bit. Head to a break. Don't go anywhere. We have what might be the last map in this series coming to you in just a few minutes. Hello and welcome back, everybody, to the fourth map, the potentially final map in our series between the first and second place teams. That's Shoes Money Crew EU and Novus Ordo Seclorum, respectively. It's European Trials, everybody. I'm Possible. I'm here with Naori. This series has been quite the roller coaster here.
Absolutely true. And what I loved in that third map is that we saw the culmination of maps 1 and 2. It was like, so on map 1 we saw Shoes Money Crew doing some weird things and like giving up points for free. And then on the second map we saw Shoes Money Crew come through and they were like, yeah, my point, get out of my game. And then on the second map it started out with Shoes Money Crew giving up points for no reason, and then ended up with Shoes Money Crew saying, hell no, this is my game. So there's an interesting evolution happening here, but both of these teams are really feeling the heat right now, and you can see it. We saw it with the big one. He threw some really strange grabs there, and I think that really comes with stress. You know that you need to be doing well. Your finger slips from your A to your Q, and suddenly you've got a really bad grab that helps nothing. So definitely a lot of stress for these teams at the moment, which is unfortunate, but they're performing really well over and above that, and I'm enjoying these games. It's really fun to watch.
Well, and speaking to that stress, if you weren't here earlier, or you're just joining us, keep in mind, whoever wins this series guarantees themselves, well, either guarantees for Shoes Money Crew or very nearly guarantees themselves a spot in Contenders Trial, the full trial, or not Contenders Trials, this is Trials. In actual EU Contenders, right? The loser of this series has got to wait and see how other matches go out, so you definitely want to be picking up this map if you're either one of these teams.
Well, this is where we're going to see it happen, and we're seeing quite an aggressive hold here from Shoes Money Crew, not doing what they've been doing on a lot of other maps, trying to run it up train, and I don't know how that's going to work out for them, getting into the back line of Shoes Money Crew.
It does force Shoes Money Crew into a bit of an awkward spot here. They can't get that formation that they really want, and Barbecue gets caught out over on the side. Not quite demeched, manages to stay alive. Can't say the same thing about Polly, however. Gets a little bit too bloodthirsty for that kill on the Molfig. Polly going down just sounds the war horn for Novus to charge on forward. Sure, you lose Eclipse, but it's just not enough to stop you.
Unfortunately, with that rotation, you know, you have this massively aggressive defense, which makes this rotation that much easier. You run up on the high ground, and you force the enemy team to have to turn around and come back to you. And already, you're in a better position, and you're forcing them to play at a weird angle. So, really well played there from Nas, managing to take control of that fight early on and get this payload moving. Shoes Money Crew, however, they are a little bit behind in the ult economy, and that could be bad for them, especially given that Cart is already halfway point.
You know what's worse than being behind in ult economy? Getting shattered by Luft. Manages to lock down 2, but he gets cleaned up here, and Shoes Money Crew, they've still got their supports. Eclipse was the first one down in this fight, and that's so much healing and damage gone when you lose that Harmony and Discord. Shoes Money Crew, though, getting traded out a little bit here, but ultimately it is the defense that's going to stabilize.
Actually huge. Imagine getting shattered by a Reinhardt and still being able to bring it around. Once again, we saw Slur really doing well there, getting a lot of, well, he got 1 or 2 kills there into the kill feed, and that created a big window of opportunity for Shoes Money Crew. Solo grab? Solo
grab on a big one. Well, that's one way to end a team fight. Don't know if that was the most economically efficient use of your Graviton mouse, but you got the kill.
It was certainly a choice. And it does force them to have to wait for that respawn. I mean, it's a hard force that loses you that grab, but you know, it did work, I guess. But now we're seeing a lot of ultimates coming through from Nos. This could be the moment that they take it back.
Yeah, no grab means that Eclipse can just invest that for free. Oh, the Shatter Bomb out from Shoes Money Crew, though. Manages to get Luft and Big One. Molfig tried with that vanilla kill over onto Slur, but it's just not enough. Big One didn't combo the grab with it, so couldn't find the value.
I mean, that was a D-mech grab coming through from Barbie there. He was about to get D-mech, and he was like, ah, well, I'll just hit Q and aim it in this general direction, and he got 2 kills. Obviously, NOS were not expecting it. They knew the grab had already been used, so they were like, well, we're not too worried about a D.Va bomb, right? They've already used grab. Surprise! Barbie's like, nah, here you go, have a big old bomb in your face. And they do manage to hold onto it. And again, Shoes Money Crew still behind a bit on that ult economy, but they have the Transcendence, and here it comes.
Oh, there's the grab thrown out slightly after the Transcendence. So there's no value there for the big one. Now, the grab comes out the other direction. No support ults to sustain Novus through this, as they're sort of just split on this defense. Polly, where are you going? Car's booping you off the edge. That's where you're going. Now, Novus have managed to actually find these kills. Shoes Money Crew may have gotten a little bit too excited after finding that opening pick in that grab. JK Lol ever so low here. Doesn't manage to get the peel. Barbecue was off over on the side, dueling a Brig, so you can't DM if you're not in the right spot. Now Novus have regrouped with their respawn advantage, and they're gonna get this payload moving again. In overtime, though.
Unfortunately, Barbecue getting a little bit stalled out there. So we've got Mouse up on this high ground. He did use the Graviton in the last fight. He doesn't have it available now, but they do have Earthshatter and the Rally. If they can use the Rally, if they can get to point in time, then there is still a chance for Shoes Money Crew to bring this back. NOS, however, do have the Transcendence. So if that Graviton Surge comes out, then there is the possibility that they can protect themselves from it. Shoes Money Crew contesting here. It is in overtime. This is their last opportunity to stop NOS in their tracks.
Early sound barrier. There's the shatter out from Luft. Oh, Transcendence. Oh, stacked on top of a sound barrier. Shoes Money Crew just used both their support ults. Barbecue can't find anything with the vanilla self-destruct here. So now Novus behind the Transcendence out from Eclipse have all of the sustain they need to push forward, get aggressive, find that opening pick on Polly, and continue the aggression. Grab now out. But Eclipse does go down to a fire strike. It doesn't matter, though, because there's just no sustain for Shoes Money. Stacking those support ults was the death of Point A.
Unfortunate. And again, it comes down to, it was something that Monty said in Overwatch. So crazy and loud and disorganized in the heat of the fight, you know, and I think that's exactly what happened. They realized, okay, we gotta hold them here, and everybody's shouting out a target, and everybody's like, okay, I'm gonna use ult, and then everybody uses ult, and it just becomes a bit of a mess. So unfortunately, they weren't able to hold on here, and again, NOS sitting with 4 ultimates. They managed to push all the way to first point and still have 4 ultimates online. Shoes Money Crew really behind at the moment, but the grab could possibly create some space for them.
Yeah, there's that grab down in the back. No support ults out from Novus to sustain, but you got a Shatter to just deny any of the value. The Shatter comes the other way, locks down 3, and Shoes Money is still going for the cleanup. Transcendence from Slur to keep them alive and ensure that they win out this fight.
NOS had no defensive ultimates there, and that was really unfortunate because they do manage to negate all of the damage from the Graviton Surge by throwing out a Earthshatter of their own, which was great, but unfortunately they were not expecting the return Earthshatter that knocked them all down and lost in that fight. They do have 1 minute left to push. They're about to have 3 ultimates online, but Shoes Money Crew are looking a little bit favorable here.
Oh, deep self-destruct into the cave! Finds Eclipse who thought he was safe! Oh, there goes that Harmony in Discord again. Novus aren't going to have those available, and those are so very important. Not only being able to heal more, but deal more damage. Novus, less than a minute in the bank for them to try and get in here.
Nice dominant hold here from Shoes Money Crew, and it looks like NOS are the ones that are getting a little bit organized at the moment. Running out of cave there, it could be, like, potentially that has a lot of potential to work out really great. You negate a lot of damage by going to the cave. Yeah, right. But unfortunately, they weren't expecting that D.Va bomb. It came straight through the tunnel and did manage to take out one of their support players. And then, of course, Slow fragged out as usual, and they did lose that fight. But now this is where the big fight happens. There's a lot of ultimates here that could go out.
This is where Novus have to be careful. JK Lul's got this Earthshatter. He's looking for the opening. Manages to lock down 3 and give Shoes Money the opportunity to push on forward. They don't convert it into any kills, though. And now Luft's coming the other way. Stack support ults again! Stop doing that, Shoes Money Crew! Oh, they managed to win this fight out regardless. Just off some nice coordinated play. Novus just didn't have enough sustain. They just used their support ults a little bit too early, so the stack support ults don't manage to punish Shoes Money Crew as much as they maybe should have.
And that last fight was one of those signature GOATS fights where literally everyone hit Q. But as we've said on previous broadcasts, it's normally the team that hits Q last that has the advantage. So we started out with the Grav from Nos. Oh, sorry, from Shoes Money Crew, and Nos came out with the Transcendence. It was a little bit late, but it was just in time to save all of their heroes from getting taken out in the Grav. Then they threw a Grav of their own, and we had the Transcendence come through from Slow. So immediately they have an opportunity here because as soon as the Graviton Surge is over, they've still got that extra little bit of healing from Slow's Transcendence. They can be more aggressive. Then we saw the double support ultimate, and I think in that point it might not have even been a misplay. I think at that point it was like, okay guys, we're gonna give us so much opportunity.
Screw it, last fight, just hit Q.
Pretty much, man. It's like, okay, the Transcendence kept us alive. Lucio beat, we can be super aggressive. They can't kill us because we have shielding. We win these. Barbie throws out his Diva mate, or rather Diva self-destruct, and there you have it. The fight's been won. So I'm gonna call that a 900 IQ play from Shoes Money Crew.
I'm gonna circle back and just say it was what you were saying earlier about clutter in the comms. You know, if Dive was sort of like rock music, I feel like Goats is like jazz, where everything lines up, it sounds really great, but if people just do their own thing, it doesn't go so well sometimes.
Well, now we're gonna see the same type of rotation.
Also, some people like it, some people don't.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
That's actually a pretty good assumption of the GOAT's composition.
Oh, yeah.
But I like seeing Mouse on this Sombra here, and that's going to do a lot to disable the tank line. And again, we're running through with quad DPS, which is so popular on Route 66 because of the open spaces and the ability to corral damage and the high ground. I mean, this is really a good, this first point Route 66 is really good for this composition, and it looks like they're making it work for them. Novus are going to have to bunker down in this cave for a little bit.
Ooh, Eclipse finding ice frag onto Maus over in the back. Finding a second one on a Gustav! Oh, Eclipse, we've been talking about Slur all day. Eclipse says, hey, remember when you guys were talking about me as the best Zen in this series? Yeah, remember that.
I'm going to make you remember my name. I mean, we've seen Eclipse do some amazing things in all of these. Who can forget that amazing Sombra? Yikes, mid-EMP. And again, Eclipse here showing his dominance. Unfortunate barrage gets nothing. There's a lot of shields in there, Polly.
Well, sure, but it does make it so Novus takes enough damage to where they have to rotate away from that room, right? They rotate back and kill Maus, but you know, they rotate away from the room. So you give some, you take some, right? Eclipse gonna take a kill on a Slur there. There goes this double, well, the triple spam that Shoes Money were hoping to abuse. Is they kind of just gotta wait and poke now.
This is generally a good composition on this map, as I mentioned before, for having that split damage. Oh, good, a pause, so I can talk more. So, it's really good for tons of damage, right? You can split up quite a bit. Your team doesn't need to be as brawly as what you would be with the GOAT's composition. You can split up, you can take high grounds, and you can really crossfire from 4 different directions, and it can create a lot of chaos. But Nos did exceptionally well bunkering down in that cave, and of course with the shield up, Slow had a lot of free reign to just plow those orbs into first the Sombra, who was chilling in the back line trying to get some hacks off and was not expecting some Eclipse in the face, and then Eclipse still managing to take down the Mercy. And despite that, it still took a little while before they were able to start contesting that cart. We saw the barrage come through there from Obling and didn't get a lot of value in terms of kills, but as you said, it forced them out of the cave and out into the open. But as soon as that happened, we saw the kill come through from the big one once again onto the Sombra, and I feel like the Sombra is not working out as well as it should be. It's possible that this is the moment where they need to consider swapping it out, because the Sombra has now been expected. They're scouting out for you. Diva's looking for you. Rather, Eclipse is looking for you. They know you're there. So this is now when I think that SMC should be reconsidering their composition or just tightening it up, right? Those are really, realistically, the only 2 options they have.
Yeah, I don't think they should switch. I'm going to disagree with you a little bit there, because I think now that Novus is forced out of the cave, there's more than one angle that Maus can abuse, right? Before, he was getting spy checked really easily because, well, guess what? He's either coming forward, where all of our damage is going, or he's coming from behind, where there is one tight little choke point, right? So you just spray through that, he gets decloaked anyways. But now that Novus is forced out into the open, it gives Mouse a lot more opportunities to create those angles and those crossfires you were discussing. So I think this quad DPS is about to rip through the defense.
Well, there you go. It comes down to tightening it up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And again, we've seen Mouse do so much. I mean, Mouse is like a 5th DPS, right? And then, and I'm loving seeing Slow on this Junkrat. I mean, he's somebody that we've been seeing really pop off on that Zenyatta, and now he's coming through on the Junkrat. He's causing a lot of chaos, and those bombs can do a lot of damage, especially in the backline. The splash damage is huge. We are now back in game, and now we're going to see what Shoes decide to do. Are they going to go with the tightening, or are they going to swap it up?
Well, they've got that EMP, so I doubt we're going to see a swap out from Mouse. He's looking to get it. Everybody from Novus is hiding in the room. It's a 5-man EMP into the Dragon Strike out. Forces the Transcendence out from Eclipse, but it just can't save Oblong. Slur gets a nice mind kill on Akara. This is devastation for the Point A defense.
I mean, it's exactly what you said. So many more angles, because now the cave, you got front and back, and there was nobody in back. So you had all of that damage coming through into the front line. Big Earls, there's so many spots for damage to come through. You can't just hold one little choke. You've got to be watching every area, and that's where this quad DPS, as you said earlier, really shines. Good fire strike onto the tire.
Shine, yeah, not gonna shine with the tire so much. It's gonna just get immediately eliminated. Dragon Strike out, actually manages to catch the big one as he's trying to leave the cave. So there goes the bubbles to try and keep Luft and the rest of his team alive. Novus, they managed to find a kill on a Slur, but you walk over the mines. Oh no, and now Pauly's just left to do whatever he wants in the air, already halfway back to another barrage, just pelting the remaining members of Novus, as this Point A is undoubtedly going over to Shoes Money Crew.
So well played. They really used those angles incredibly well. That Dragon Strike, it was really good for zoning, splitting up the team, but over and above that, it did manage to take out the big one, and that created so much opportunity for them, because those bubbles, as you said, are so important for negating damage and getting charge up for the Zarya. Now Shoes Money Crew, they still have that EMP. They haven't used it, and that is a fight-winning ultimate. They've also got the Valkyrie online. They're about to have another barrage and another Dragon Strike. Not sitting on even a single support ultimate.
So many decisive win conditions for Shoes Money Crew, and Novus can't afford to lose one fight, but they're going to! EMP barrage overhead. Nothing you can do about that, Novus Ordo, as you're going to lose this one out. 10 meters for the payload to go. It's a team kill as Athena chimes the gong, and Shoes Money Crew are going to be taking the map, therefore the series, and going to be the first team to guarantee themselves a spot into European contenders.
Well played, Shoes Money Crew. And I just want to, before I go into everything that happened in this map, I just want to bring it back to what we were saying earlier about this team was a team that came through Open Division last year, won it out, got into trials, got through trials, got into contenders, got relegated back into trials, and now they're back after so many roster swaps. We will see them back on the main contenders show. So phenomenally well played to these guys. They've worked really hard to get you, and that quad DPS is looking really tight.